for others. Yes, the Kongu Arts and Science College Institution Innovation Council organizes many innovative programs to enlighten the young minds and promote the participation of students at all levels. It is my special privilege to welcome you all to the Prototype Design and Development workshop organized by Institution Innovation Council, Kongu Arts and Science College. It is my pleasure to welcome our Honorable Correspondent, Thiru K. Palanisamy Avargal. I extend my hearty welcome to our respected Principal, Dr. N. Raman Sir. I am very delighted to take an opportunity to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Jagadish Vengala, Head EDC, Innovation and Incubation Center, PVP SIT, Vijayawada. We welcome you, sir. It's my turn to extend a gracious welcome to our respected IIC President, Dr. J. Gayatri ma'am. We heartily welcome you, ma'am. And next, I heartily welcome IIC Vice President, Dr. Vijay Sumati ma'am. We welcome you, ma'am. I would like to welcome IIC staff coordinators, head of the departments and faculty members who are an integral part of the college. Last but not least, I welcome all the fellow students to this beautiful event. I welcome you all. Now I invite Dr. Thangam Madam, Head of BBA, to introduce the chief guest.
Good morning to all. I am very honored to present before you our eminent guest of honor, Dr. Jagadish Vengala, Convener, Institution Innovation Council and Associate Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, PVP Siddhartha Institute of Technology, Vijayawada. Having pursued his bachelor degree in Civil Engineering at Kanaru Lakshmaya College of Engineering and Masters at BMS College of Engineering, Bangalore. Sir has accomplished his doctorate at VTU, Bangalore in 2015. His thesis was conferred to be INAE Innovative PhD Thesis by Indian National Academy of Engineering. Sir has started up his career as a design engineer and Orsted Research Foundation in 2002 and served as scientist of IPIRTI Bangalore for 11 years. With a strong passion towards teaching and research, Sar has quit his job and stepped into pedagogical service since 2015. He holds more than 21 years of research in industry and teaching experience. Sar has delivered more than 2,000 lectures at various national and international forums, chaired more than 25 conferences and training programs, published more than 50 papers in various reputed journals. More than 30 graduates on this research quest. Sar is a reviewer of several reputed journals, notably Journal of Structural Engineering, International Journal of Earth Science and Engineering, Indian Concrete Journal, and many. He is a member of ACCE, Indian Society of India, and Fellow Institute of Engineers. He is an efficacious mentor in earthquake test inspection in Japan under National Science Foundation project. He was the recipient of an innumerable honors, notably Outstanding Concrete Engineering, Andhra Pradesh, for the year 2021 by ICI Vijayawada Center. Outstanding Faculty Award for the year 2019 by Venus International Foundation, Chennai. Runner-up of Smart India Hackathon 2019 at national level organized by FHRD. Due to time restraints, I am curtailing his endless account of effort and honors here. Now, I invite the Honorable Environmental Engineer and Researcher, Dr. Jagadish Sir, to present his keynote address. Please, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you, ma'am. And first of all, I would like to convey my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Gayatri ma'am, who has contacted me and requested me to deliver this talk on prototype design and development. And I'm very thankful to the principal, management correspondent, and also the IIC members and the students at last of Kongu Arts and Science College, Erode. I happened to visit Kongu Engineering College, Erode, long back, that is in the year 2006, when I was working as a scientist. And I have a good association with Kongu College, in the sense Kongu group, basically. So let me share my presentation. Hope my presentation is visible. Somebody may please confirm.
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll continue now. So I'm going to deal with the prototype design and development for the next 1.5 hours. And maybe in between there is a small gap. Whenever 45 minutes gets over, we are going to reconnect, and then I'll continue from that point onwards. At the same time, if there is any internet glitch in between, I'll reconnect quickly, and then I'll continue from where I left. This is what I just would like to mention. So at the end of my presentation, students can discuss and ask questions. You can note down during my presentation. At the end of the presentation, you may ask some of the questions related to the prototype design and development. So market is changing, we all know that. And we started with, in India, agriculture revolution, and then industrial revolution followed, and then now digital revolution last few years. And then people are talking about industry 4.0. It is very important to understand the workforce, because market is changing, and how the future market also, one should also know about it. So we have 3 types of workforce that are available. One is physical labor, second is cognitive, and then third is emotional labor. When it comes to the physical labor, whoever does the physical work, they do the work, they get paid. For example, the person who does the manual work, a person who carry a material from one point to another point, will get some amount of money. He doesn't even think about it. He just have to do the physical work. So he get paid a particular amount. When it comes to the skill in the manual itself, in the physical itself, so skilled work is, for example, a mason, a carpenter. What he does, he construct a wall, or he make a door. So he is having a skill of converting raw material into a particular product, say a wood log into a timber frame. So this is what a carpenter will do. So he's having a skill, carpentry skill. So he get paid more than the person who does simple manual work, carrying a material from one point to another point. When it comes to the precision work, that means the head of the mason or head of the carpenter, who actually does the work differently than normal person. That means with a precision, without any defects, he does the product. So he gets paid more when it comes to the either skilled or manual. The people who does the precision work gets paid more. This is the hierarchy in terms of the physical labor. So why I'm talking about it? Because one should understand how the market is. Okay, so that is what the physical labor. When it comes to the cognitive labor, we are all comes under cognitive labor. What is cognitive labor? The person who memorize things and reproduce the whatever memory he remembers, and he does the work. For example, a bus conductor, what he does, he actually remembers from a point A to point B how much he has to cut the ticket. Similarly, point A to point C, point A to point D. So he memorizes, and he remembers, like whenever you ask for a particular place, suppose from Erode to Coimbatore. So he'll remember how much the cost of the ticket, and he cut the tickets. So see, these are the people who memorizes and reproduce the knowledge, whatever they have it. So these people comes under cognitive. When it comes to the analysis is the people who analyze things. For example, civil engineers. I take a lot of civil engineering examples, and you can see that the people who analyze the things and then come out with a conclusion or come out with, they paid more when it comes to people when compared with the the people who memorizes. When it comes to the optimization, all these software engineers or the people who does the optimization work. For example, suppose when you're when you go to Amazon website, so you're trying to book shoe, or you're trying to book some item, say shoe, for example. So you don't book it and then you come back to Yahoo Mail or Gmail. You're trying to browse your mail. So suddenly a pop-out will come that this shoe is having a discount of 10% and 20%. Who does that? So the people in the background will optimize the things and put it that you need a requirement of the shoe. So they do a lot of machine learning, and then the people gives you the right selection based on your the browsing features. So these are the people who get paid more when compared with the people who does analysis and who remembers. So next is the people who are into creative and critical thinking. So why COE of a company or the director of the company get paid? He is having a vision that how to take this organization further level. In a sense, he always thinks about so what kind of implementations when you adopt in this particular organization, we can see this organization into next level. So the people who does critical thinking and they do creative in taking up the organization or surroundings to the next level, they get paid more. So in cognitive labor, you have a hierarchy again from the people who does memorization, who does analysis, who optimize things, and who is in the top positions and think about the organization future and organization development. So they comes under the this is the hierarchy in cognitive labor. So now people are, we are moving to industry 4.0, and the many machines are doing the work of the human. So lot of pressure that is coming on to the people who are working. So we are actually stressed up at home and at office and a lot of things because we are involved. Because earlier in olden days, we have a very limited number of people we get connected. So our mind is thinking about only very few things. Now, over a period of time, you are engaged with the different people and the different works, and there is a gap between expectation and then the reality, and then you get stressed up. So this is how people are getting stressed up in many of the organizations. So now in future, the people who handles the ethics, who handles the relationships, who handles the empathy, who creates the awareness, gets paid more in companies. So, the people who that means the people who handles the human resource. Okay, so we call it as emotional labels. So who creates the empathy within the environment, who creates the awareness about the various things, who implements the ethics within the organization, who creates a good relationship within the organization, they get paid more, because most of the work is going to be done by the machines in future. This is very, very important. So future is, so this is the hierarchy. Now the market is changing. So initially we were, when Einstein was there, we were talking about, oh my God, IQ of Einstein is 2, maybe 100, 100, more than 100. So IQ is nothing but intelligent quotient. So people then, over a period of time, organizations started thinking about, okay, it is not only IQ, one should have EQ. EQ is how do you control your emotions in the workplace and in general. This is very, very important. That is why many of the HR rounds, interviews, people, intelligence is one part, because most of the time nowadays organizations are giving you the same work. They get trained you for a systematic work. You have a SOPs in place. You just have to follow the based on SOPs, you carry out the work. So intelligence is one part. But main thing is organizations look into the people about the EQ. EQ is nothing but emotional quotient of the people. So how do you react to such situations? How you are able to control your emotions and does the things. That is how people are recruiting. And IQ is over, EQ is over. Now people are, even the organizations are looking at how good you are adaptable to the different kind of environment. So people are talking about adaptability quotient. Suppose suddenly from Tamil Nadu, Erode, you are placed in somewhere in Jammu Kashmir, somewhere in Lucknow, somewhere in Gurgaon, somewhere in Bangalore, somewhere in Andhra Pradesh. So it is like, how do you get adopted to the environment is first thing. Second thing is, how do you go well with the other people who comes from different backgrounds? Very, very important. So it doesn't mean that many times, you join in an organization and your superior is a much much lower qualification than you. It doesn't mean that you are great or you need not get offended, because there are different skills he's having. See, qualification is only one a piece of certificate you are having. That is the basis to get into any organization. But skills and running the organization and handling the situations, handling the people is very, very important. So how do you get adopted with the different kind of people who comes from different backgrounds, and how do you adapt to the different cultures, and how do you adapt to the different places is very, very important. Organizations are looking at people when they are recruiting. Other than IQ is one small part. They are only giving 30%, and then rest of the 70% they are looking into your EQ and AQ skills, like how do you get adopted and how do you emotionally control. So this is what they are looking into it. And when you look into the Bureau of Labor Statistics projections, and the job roles are changing. You can see here, and in 2017, the wages and the various, job profiles are like medical assistants and nurse practitioners, statisticians, software developers. These roles are, increasing. After the corona, after the COVID, home health aides are becoming more and more and more, and people are giving a lot of importance to health. So health industry, health sector is becoming more, and people, so the surrounding to health is becoming the new market. So the new market itself is the health and related market, and related job profiles are becoming more and more common. And people are like, the reducing like data entry operators, word process typists, electrical postmasters. These are all dwindling. These jobs are nowhere, because you can communicate within a click of button through mobile or your laptop. So you need to see that how the market is changing. When you are in the first year of your degree course, what happens after 3 years? Once you come out after graduation, after 3 years, what is the job condition, how the market is. Accordingly, you have to prepare yourself, and you have to improve your skills based on the future job market, not that what that is there in the past or what that is there in the current. Apart from the current job profile, you also have to look into the what happens after 3 years, what kind of job profiles are there in the market. You have to look into it, and then you have to accordingly prepare for it. And automation is becoming real. Don't think automation is not happening. Automation is happening one by one sector. It is coming, and then it is 14% of jobs could be automated. So wherein so across countries it is changing, and only few human related jobs are there, and even the labor market is transforming. When you see initially a lot of product companies are there, even in the software, you have a lot of product companies are there. Now people are only talking about service oriented companies, only the suppose ticketing or the travel or whatever company you take, products are already there. Only you just have to do the service. Some bugs you have to clear and then do it. So labor market is transforming. Manufacturing is going down and down and down. And many adults do not have the right skills for emerging jobs. This is also very, very important. What does that mean? Here, in our old education system, doesn't have much of the ICT skills. So the people who are in the market, who can able to upgrade themselves year by year, are going to stay there. If you don't upgrade your skills, you don't get the promotion, you don't get go to the next level and so on. And it is also very important, many times the support, the amount what you are getting is getting less, when compared if you don't have the right skills. So having seen how the market is, I'm actually slowly going, I'll get into the actual topic. So before that, you need to understand how the market is, and then how. So innovation has become or is becoming one of the important criteria in this changing scenario. So innovation is, you have to create, you have to think, you have to, involve in a different way. And you have to enable, create solutions, innovations, which has an impact on the society. At the same time, it should have a social value, and it should have economic value, and it should fulfill the needs of various people, whether it is a product or it is a process. So you need to beyond R&D, you have to move, and then you have to make sure you just have to innovate things for the various problems that are surrounding to you. So where does we are in India, basically? Okay, so if you look into the innovation part of India, we are actually at 81 rank. In the year 2015, slowly, like 15 to 16 and then 16 to 17, we are jumping towards the right rank, in the sense within 5 years of time, we are into the top 50 nations in the world. How does this ranking will be given? So this Global Innovation Index ranking is given by UN Intellectual Property Organization with the help of Cornell University and INSEAD. There are different partners. Okay, so how do they give this innovation ranking? This is based on 80 indicators. So these indicators, like how many number of patents the country has been filed, and how many mobile applications they've created, which impacted the society, how much amount of money you are spending on the education, and how much amount you are spending for R&D, how many scientific and technical publications are coming out from the country. Based on these indicators, they'll give the rank. And Switzerland is number 1, and followed by Sweden, USA, UK, Netherlands, Finland, Singapore, Germany, Israel, it follows. So India is also in the top 50, and we are very fast moving to the the top 25. within no time, because the activity what we are conducting in the Institution Innovation Council, so creating innovation into the organizations is also the part of this process. So what is the objective of the innovation? It is very important. You should have a focus on either you create a product or a process or give service, wherein it should be affordable by all people, all income groups, and at the same time, you should not compromise on the quality of the service or quality of the product. So whether you take the website is a service wherein you are going to book the ticket, either flight or the bus or train, IRCTC website, for example. So it's a service. So with a quality, you have to come out with the website. Similarly, in case of the product, when you come out with some kind of product, suppose a touchless dispenser, wherein in the hospitals, that is one of the innovations that happened due to the COVID. You need not touch, and then based on sensors, the water will come from the water dispenser. So, does it having a quality, and does it having a reasonable price and all? So that's how the innovation, I'm talking about both product and service, that is the objective of the innovation. So I'm coming to slowly our topic related to the prototype design and all. So any innovation or any work you do, you should do a background check. Very, very important. I'm going to give an example of my work, what I have done earlier, where I was working as a scientist. So the house, what you are seeing, is a bamboo house which is earthquake resistant, which is practiced in northeastern part of the country. So this house has been tested on a particular table that is called a shake table, which will move three-dimensionally, which rotates three-dimensionally, and it will give you whether the house is seismically resistant or not. So this test was carried out on a shake table, which is having suppose if you wanted to test the similar model, you need to establish this, you need to have a big amount of money. At the same time, to test each model, you need to spend at least 10 lakhs worth of money. And there is also, at the end of this test program, this house did not exhibit any cracks. So we'd like to go for the second model. So this is how I did the background check. Then I understood that, is there any alternative method to test the same house for a seismic performance or seismic response? Then we found that we established a test method that is called shock table, which was created within 5 to 6 lakhs, the entire facility. And then we did the construction of the house, we tested it, and then we checked the performance till the failure. And then within 4 or 5 lakhs, we could able to manage the entire work. So what I mean to say is, any work you are doing, you must do a background analysis. Is there any work has been already done? What are the constraints to the earlier work? This is very, very important. So when you are going for design process, there are different stages. One is you have to identify what the problem is. What are the various concepts or ideas to solve the same problem? And you have to come out with a compromised solution. Then based on the solution, you have come to okay, this is the compromised solution. This is the ideal solution. Then you have to develop a model or a prototype. I will give you example what is the difference between a model or a prototype. Okay. Then once based on the model or prototype, you come out with a working drawing, and then you go for the production. This is how the engineering design process that will happen. So now come to the, what is that you are doing? What is the experiment? So you need to understand these terms when you're talking about prototype design and development. So what is experiment? Experiment is nothing but you will construct the model and you test it such that the concept what you have proposed and the design you proposed, whether is it able to working, whether is it performing well over a period of time. That's what we call it as durability over a period of time. And the performance of the product is okay or not based on the characteristics. Like suppose if it has to be outside, whether it can able to good within the weather conditions, like hot sun, continuous rain. So how many days it will come, the product. So the experiment is nothing but you are going to construct, test to verify the concepts of your design, and design on paper, whatever you are designed, whatever you're sketched out, it has to come into the physical reality. So to do that, to do the construction, there are three techniques you follow. There are three techniques you follow. Suppose you thought something in your mind and you put it on the paper before getting into the product. Okay, you need to test it. To test, you have to do the experiment. So to experiment, there are three techniques you can follow. That is, number one, mock-up. Second one is model, and third one is the prototype. I'll give you the proper, differentiation between mock-up, model, and then prototype. So what is mock-up? So mock-up is nothing but we construct these scaled models either from plastics, wood, cardboard. So all these, even the school children will do, right? School or college people, college children, they do it using the So we were talking about the difference between the mock-up, model, and prototype. So mock-up is nothing but, as I told you, when you do the experiment, you start with a small scale model, of which you do it either using the wood, cardboard, or paper, or plastic. So this mock-up is very quick and it is very easy to build. That's how the school children does that. And even this one is just to check the clearance. Does it have the proper clearance? What is the assembly technique we have to follow when it comes to the actual project? And what are the manufacturing considerations we have to do? How the appearance it will be when it looks to the scaled one. And this is a very least expensive technique, which when you are doing the experiment, and also it will only give the least amount of the information. So this is about the mock-up. So when it comes to the, so this is one of the working model. This I visited in Japan. This was the world's largest shake table test they do, wherein this is the model they have created from the actual. So mock-up, just to give the example, this is the mock-up, I have asked the students to do it when we are working on tensiligrity structures. You can see this. So this is a mock-up we created with the small, what is that, ice cream, sticks, and then the thread. So wherein this can able to actually take the load, you can see. So this is one more model we created before going into the bigger model. Even this particular model is able to take a small amount of the load. So this is how, when you are creating a new structural forms, when you're doing the experiments, you just have to do it with, as I've told, mock-ups are like very simple to do it, and you can guess or gauge whether these things can able to take the loads or create, what kind of appearance it will give, what kind of color it will give, and so on. And you can see the previous one is only the mock-up, and then this is the real prototype we have done. You can see here, this is the tensegrity structure we have created basically to with the compression and tension members. So before that, this is what the video you have seen in the previous. Based on the mock-ups, we created the real model of the table, the tensegrity model. The students who are involved in working this type of the product. So when we do, it is very important to do the analysis also. So we have a lot of softwares available, that which is the key joinery portion, which will able to take the load, and how to connect, and what kind of connections are required, and so on and so forth. We can decide based on even the virtual model also. From virtual model, you can eliminates a lot of mistakes that comes out of the product, so that not to do too many mistakes when you are really making the product. So now we discussed about the mock to the product. So now I will talk about the model. Model is the representation of physical system through a mathematical similitude. So true model is nothing but, there are different, within the model, there are different definitions. One is a true model. True model is, exact geometric reproduction, which will build to scale. Suppose 1:1 is a true model. Okay, or 1:2. So which will satisfy all restrictions in the design. Adequate model is to test specific characteristics. Suppose a model is made as a similar model, so only to check whether it can able to sustain the sun rays. So you just keep it outside and then check. So it doesn't require all the parameters. So only specific characteristic you will do it. So that's why we call that as an adequate model. And when it comes to the distorted model, purposefully it violates one or more design conditions. Distorted model is to check again only one or two. Dissimilar is also it will give you accurate information, but it will also resemble the real system. So I'm going to give the example. Okay, so we would like to check the some of the parameter. Okay, so a house is having a particular volume. So we did this to a very scaled model. You can see this model is we can say it's a distorted model. Okay, wherein the volume is same when it comes to this. So volume, we have scaled it down, and then we measured the temperature difference between these models, wherein we measured how much inside temperature and humidity is when you construct with different materials. So then this is like, a scale model. So having seen the properties of the earlier one, so we've improved the scale. That means you can see this is a half scale model. Okay, so wherein we actually built the half scale model. Here also we measured thermal comfort inside the house. Thermal comfort is temperature and humidity. It is very, very important when you are living in a house. Do you have a comfortable condition inside your house? That is the required temperature and required humidity. If you are staying in a very hot region, you require air conditioner. If you are staying in a very cold, place, you require a heater. So how to create a required temperature and humidity we are working on. This is the project I'm working on, wherein we measure the temperature and humidity, and then by changing the wall parameters and by changing the roof parameters, that's how we made the models. This is a scale model. So when you are doing the prototype, taking the help of while making models, you have to take the help of softwares. So this is a small software wherein we have, created a sun profile. So earlier case, when we tested these models, the shadow of one model is falling on the other model. The shadow of the model is falling on the other model, wherein it is giving a shade to the other model. So to avoid that, we created a sun profile, and then we made sure that the shadow doesn't fall, the model of the shadow doesn't fall on the other. So that's how we created based on the software. Again, we built the models, and we've changed some of the parameters. So when you look into these models, you can see the right-hand side, we have the brick-based models. The left-hand side, we have a AAC block-based models. And even the roofing system also, the last one is the RCC slab, simple RCC slab. The middle one is having a cool roof coating on top of the roof. And then the front one is having a glazed tiles, wherein we observed the difference between the comfort in these houses. We measured inside the temperature, wherein the AC block with the glazed tiles is giving almost 3 degrees less temperature inside. That means more comfort inside when compared with the other models. So when you're doing experiment, when you're constructing models, so you need to make sure, okay, you take care of different parameters and you come out with an experiment. The outcome will be given to people wherein they will implement in their regular house construction. So coming to the prototype. Prototype is the most expensive experimental technique wherein it gives large amount of information. That means most of it is nothing but an actual product. So actual product having a different market value, that means it has got a more finishing and all. But when it comes to the prototype is nothing but what exactly the entire features, working features of the product is completely included in the prototype, except the finishing part of it. And it is a full-scale working physical system, and you will able to learn what is the construction technique, how the assembly procedure you have to do when the bigger product line you're created, and what is the workability, what is the durability, and how the performance under actual environmental conditions. Suppose if it has to use under the water, you just have to create. Or if you're using in the marine environment, you just have to make sure this product is tested there. So actual prototype is nothing but, which includes all the features except little bit of finishing part of the outside, the appearance part, otherwise the rest of the everything, the technique, assembly procedure, everything you test it in the prototype. So this is what the prototype I would like to show you here. The very interesting prototype. This was, in 2009 in Japan. I involved in this particular testing. As you know that this is a shed table, as I told, 7-story building has been constructed. This is an apartment building of 60 feet by 40 feet has been tested on this table, wherein we gave a earthquake input. We gave the earthquake input, different earthquake input, wherein it will test for the earthquake. Here you can see it. There are 6 floors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So actual apartment building has been built. So prototype is like actual building we have built it, except outside finishing, except the painting and is not done, and other things. But otherwise, full prototype we have created. This was tested in Japan, because in US, and this is a US and Japan's collaborative project, wherein when we go for 7-story buildings in either US or Japan, because these are all, some of the places are more earthquake prone, wherein we have tested. I was part of member for damage inspection team, wherein we have given various earthquake inputs, and we understood that. So what are the portions? We have the weaker portions, and we have observed the crack progress at the different levels, and so on and so forth. So that means the prototype is a real building here in this case. Here the product is the real building. The 7-story wood building has been completely full scale, I'm talking about, and created, and then we have tested it. This is how the prototype, this is what the prototype is. So once we tested it, that is myself, and we are actually doing the damage analysis. So one has to know, when you are creating prototype, you need to systematically represent various notations, like which room, what is the damage that happened, what is the crack progress, and denoting with the different colors. Particularly this one you can see here, there are 2 tests happened. One is on 10th June and another one is on 17th, wherein you can see here, the first one is created with a different color, and the second one is created with the other color. You can see. Okay. This is how you have to, somebody having a question. Yeah. So this is how we have checked the prototype once we test it. So very interesting. One more prototype I'm going to discuss is about. So when I was in Japan, we used to go by bicycle from one place to another place. So that made me, realize to create a new project. So wherein I'm working on a project wherein I worked on a particular material called bamboo, wherein we started working on a new prototype just to make sure, prototype in the sense the bicycle we are making using the bamboo, wherein we created the the basic prototype. But here you can see here, to understand the features of the bicycle, I have pedaled till then almost 6,000 kilometers. I did cycling. So these are all the pictures of my cycling, wherein you can see. To understand the features of the bicycle, you need to ride it first, and then you need to understand what are the parameters that are there. Whenever you are making the product, it is very important. So I always believe in, like, if you keep traveling when you are young, so you can able to get exposed to various places. It doesn't matter about the money. So exposure gives you a lot of knowledge to you. So this was my longest ride, and then, so having done all this, so I understood what are the various parts of the cycle, and what is top tube, what is down tube, what is crank, what is bottom bracket, and all these things I understood. Then I started working. I made a prototype of the frame of the cycle using the bamboo and then little amount of steel. So to make the joinery, so we also tested the the joinery between the connection between the the bamboo and then the joint. It is very, very important. So this is how I have made a prototype of bicycle, and so on. So next is, like, as I mentioned, like during my introduction, our institute team has won second prize. This is on one of the prototype. All these people that time were in the first year of their engineering. So when we motivated, they have come out with some kind of wind turbine. So how to make that wind turbine? So finally they made a prototype. This is the vertical axis wind turbine they have made. The beauty of this is the shape and the turbine shape and other thing in a parabolic shape they've created. When the vehicle passes through, the wind of the vehicle pushes the turbine in the middle of the road, and then the mechanical energy is converted. The mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy. A gearbox and anemometer is created here. Gearbox will increase the speed, and the blades of helical shape of 120 degrees will allow its rotation more and towards the direction. And this was and the blades were made of aluminum, wherein lightweight, and aluminum is a non-corrosive nature. So that's how we created, and we just did a small painting for that. And the radius of blades improves the wind speed, and then shaft makes nearly 80 revolutions per minute. So you can increase the speed by giving a gearbox by 20 times, 1:20 gearbox we made, wherein when the vehicle moves, that the wind that created from the vehicle will make to rotate this prototype, and then this mechanical energy gets converted into electrical energy so that it can lighten up the street light or so on. This idea has bagged the second prize in Smart India Hackathon, that is runner-up. So even in the TV news, CTV news, it was showed. So these are the students. I was the mentor for their the project. This is how we have created. And then our students having seen different prototypes and different working models, they started participating in different events. Recently, Toykathon happened in 2021. One idea had just got into finals based on a number of parameters. Even though it did not get the prize, I just would like to give you some kind of brief idea about it. This is a very interesting game that created by the student, wherein during the floods and disaster, this game was created on the floods and disaster, wherein the person, as a gamer, you have to save the people. So whenever you save a particular person, you get a point. So this is the background of the game that created. You can see this is how this is the game. So this is during the a natural calamity. If you go and pick a person, so whenever you save a person, you get a point. So these people, you saved it, and you're done. So that is the basic idea, and it has got into finals. Even the National Innovation Contest also, some of the ideas got selected, and then see, giving a kind of effort is very, very important. And there is also, this is so many times I understand students are more addicted to the mobile games. So when you are really planning to make a game, so there is a very interesting story. When I was teaching engineering mechanics for one of my previous college in Bangalore, that is BMSIT, wherein this student is from information science background. I used to take him engineering mechanics classes. He was very interesting, and he used to always play with the mobile and all. So later when I interacted with him, I came to know he's a gamer. He's the world's 5th rank. So when you're really putting your effort into anything, you have to see the peaks. And later he started designing the games and so on. So if you have a thought of something which you would like to create out of your time. Suppose many people addicted to games, but when you're really creating a game, or what for you're doing it, this is very, very important. So usually I give these examples, because unnecessarily don't waste time in because this is a very engaged wherein you have to improve your skills and you have to gain a lot of knowledge, but don't waste time in wasting your time in mobile games and so on. If you are really into creating something, you can do it, but otherwise there is no point. Finally, it doesn't give you any kind of value. So this is one of the Goa project I was involved. So this was, I created sorry, I was I was the structural designer for this particular research project. So why I'm showing this particular project is this is the project. This we created using the bamboo. This particular restaurant. This is one more view of the restaurant. You can see the skeletal model of the restaurant. So very interesting thing what we have done here is, the water drainage pipes. So they've restricted and also there is a sea nearby. You've seen the sea in the video. So the sea water ingresses into the foundations. It may corrode the structure. So what I've done is this water pipes, we've used it as a permanent shuttering wherein we poured the concrete. So we created this, we used this as a basically the footing or the foundation for this particular house. And I always suggest the students who are into analysis, there are a lot of new products that are getting flooded into the market. And the value analysis of these products are unknown. Very, very important. Please note a point. So there are a lot of MBA students, science background students are there. So nobody knows, what is the authenticity of this product. Okay, it's very important as a student. You should analyze the value of the product and how affects the society and so on. So as a civil engineers, I used to tell, you need to do the analysis and you have to come out with the optimized model because a lot of new composite materials are. So when you do any prototype, actually, whatever you do, you need to do a thorough literature review for your, study. And many times we as the professors asked you students to attend or present in a conference, but many times you are hesitated to do that. I am giving you very, very important points why one should attend or present in a conference. See, one thing is whenever you get an idea, whether it is a hypothesis or it is a working idea, you have to share your work and you get a lot of feedback from the people where you are presenting. And also, when you are attending the particular conference in your field, you will also come to know what are the latest updates in your field that is happening, you will come to know. And also, when you go to the conference or when you are mingle with in your field, so you will come to know a lot of people and you can find new collaborators or new collaborations in your field. It is very important to get network. You get network with the people. So for that, you need to have we call it as a 3 to 5 minutes elevator speech. What does that mean? Usually when you're going for a multi-storied buildings, you take a lift, there is a 3 minutes time in that lift. So that's why elevator or lift speeches, we call it. So within 3 minutes, you should, talk about who are you and what is your educational background, what are your skills, and what are the areas you are working on, so that you can introduce very well to them, so that you get a good association. They will also share. If that's how you create the network with the new people. And also, it is very important to improve the communication. Communication is not about the language. Many times I keep telling to my students that communication is not about English or any language. Communication is about how you are able to clearly, logically present the idea or the work to the opposite person, and why are you doing? So that's how you have to engage the people when you are, communicating. So it's like a storytelling, how well you are going to present your idea, how well you are going to motivate the audience is very, very important. So for that, what you have to do, you have to read. You have to read a lot, okay, in advance. And whatever you have read, so you can present in a very beautiful way. And it is very important to attend the whole meeting. It's not that, you got a bus, you will leave, you got a friend, or, when you go to a new place, usually what they do, they don't attend the full meeting. They go to see some of the places nearby. Okay. So never ever leave any of the conference, because you don't know with whom you may get connected, with which idea you get stuck, and what idea comes out when you present it. Many times, I used to attend a lot of conferences. Many times, like end of suppose it's a 3 days conference, you listen a lot of normal lectures. Suddenly, third day afternoon session, one talk will give you a very good idea wherein you can further work it on. This is very, very important to attend the whole meeting. And not only attending the meetings, it is very important to visit various places. So when I'm working on a particular housing system study, so I visited Northeast. So Northeast is Northeast. You can see a lot of these houses. These houses are made up of material that is called bamboo. So my area is bamboo. So I was talking about this. So when I wanted to know about the houses which are made up using this particular material bamboo, I visited Northeast almost many times and then understood these are the 4 kinds of houses that are, present in the northeastern part of India. So the first one is with the fully mud plastered, inside bamboo is there. There is a rough plastered house, you can see. There is a combination of both plastered and unplastered. These are the actual houses, okay. And there are like houses with weaved mat board. That means the bamboo is flattened and then weaved into a mat board. And so it is very important to make a prototype. You need to understand how the actual models are, and then you need to visit places, sites which are relevant to your field. Very, very important. And also you need to find a lot of literature to understand this material. I came to know one of the person has made a house using the similar material. Between the beams, he has made a bamboo strip arch. So after 25 years, he wanted to demolish during that time. Before demolition, he chipped out the cement mortar and then bamboo strip. A person is standing on 1.8 meter span after 25 years. So that's how you will come to know the performance of this particular material, any material or any product. So what I mean to say is you need to visit, or you need to understand, thoroughly check the review of literature, how the similar material is working on different prototypes or models. When you are working on a prototype or a model, it is always important to follow, codes, Indian standard codes, and important standards. Very important. So for civil engineers, we have a National Building Code of India, 2005 and 2016 is also there. So what I mean to say is, it is very important to follow the standards and codes when you are working on any prototype or standards. And second thing is, many times you get hesitated to make others to involve in experimental works. See, you are doing some experimental work, or you are making a prototype. It is very important to involve others into your experimental program so that they will give you a better idea. They'll give you, this is how it is very simple to handle the work without any problem. Suppose if you don't find some kind of element in your particular prototype, he will suggest an alternate. So that is how, you need to involve others in your program. It is also very important. Many times we are very poor in documentation. This is what I always tell to our people. So it is always better to document. Nowadays, you have a mobile cameras before and after experiment, and every stage of the experiment, every stage of making the prototype, you have to create the evidence by taking the sufficient photographs and sufficient documentary evidence, sufficient observations at each and every stage along with the photo is very, very important. And this is as a part of my program, PhD program, when before making the house, we did testing for each and every component that is involved in the particular house. So we did test a lot of properties, before making the house. So whatever prototype or whatever you make, it should see light in the market. Very, very important. Many times you don't do the application oriented research. It is very important whenever you are doing research, it should be an application oriented research. So when we did the trusses testing, the bamboo trusses testing, we made sure that the data of the trusses, what we found out, has been given to the nearby industries, wherein some of the industries, in place of steel roof, they've gone for bamboo roof, and the shed, whatever you have seen, is in the photograph, is the example. So what you do, the testing or the prototype, it should see light in the market. Otherwise, there is no value for whatever work you have done in your time. And very important, when you are throwing your idea to anyone, or when you are talking about your prototype, it is very important to create a 3D picture, 3D visualization. It is easy, to make others to understand, even though they are not very good at technical skills. You can showing the picture, you can tell, okay, there are like 4 trusses are coming, there are like few columns are coming, this is how the primary school building, there are 2 entrances, you can see the podium is this side, and this costs this much, only these walls we have created full walls, there are half walls to create a sufficient circulation, air circulation, and so on. So 3D visualization is very important, and it is easy to make others to realize very comfortably. And symbolic representation also required, so that you can easily, you can see this is an actual picture, this is the graphical representation I've created. So this is how you have to make them understand, create the confidence among the people based on your testing, which was done on your prototype. So when you're working on any of the model or prototype, it is very important to follow the safety precautions. Many times you don't read the safety precautions that are there in the room, whichever lab you go for. See, with a great intention, they keep those safety precautions. And also, whenever you are entering into lab, whenever you are working with some kind of a prototype, you need to make sure the equipments that are there, you need to know. Suppose you are working with, I'm working on these photos I was taken at the Colorado State University when I went for a fellowship program. So wherein I know, like when you are working on a drill bit, you need to make sure that you wear the gloves, and then you can work it out. So safety equipment is very, very usage of equipment, and the safety precautions are very, very important. So sometimes you don't get the materials, so you have to design your prototype based on the availability of materials that are there. Okay, this is also very, very important. You cannot create your prototype wherein the material is not available, and then you cannot create the design. So you have to create the design accordingly based on the available materials. Sometimes you have to give importance to even small detailing when you are making your prototype. Okay, so you just have to give importance to even small detailing. Very interesting work, I'll tell you. So when tsunami hit the Indian coast, so during that time, when we wanted to install emergency housing for some parts of the country. So see, we actually worked on a prefabricated housing with a steel frame and then the bamboo composite. So here there are two types of the nut and bolts we generally use. One is the lug bolt and hex bolt. So which bolt to use also makes a lot of difference, because when we when we compare the lug bolt and hex bolt, lug bolt is having more elastic nature when compared with the hex bolt, based on the testing what we have carried out accordingly. So that means even the nut and bolt small detailing is also very important when you're making your prototype. So as I mentioned, thermal comfort studies also, we've carried out, and bamboo houses are comfortable. When we tested these prototypes, these houses when compared with the RCC houses are 3 to 4 degrees less temperature. And many times when we are working in a lab, when we are working for prototypes, it is very important to associate with the lab instructors, because they have a more knowledge on the tools that are there, and then they'll help you out in make you understand about various tools. When I'm working with one of the university in US, Colorado State University, for my project, this person who is working in that lab, he helped me out in handling various tools, and so association is very, very important when you're working on a prototype. And it is also very important to check for alternatives. Wherein this is one of the robot mixer, when we don't find because it costs more than $1 lakh. So within 3,000, we created one alternative for that, and then we did our experiments basically to create some kind of prototype. And fabrication is a very, very important parameter one should know when you are making the prototypes. So we did prototypes with the perplex sheet, even the metallic sheet, based on your requirement. So fabrication is a very important factor when you are making the prototypes. You should know about the fabrication. And also, there is a difference between the laboratory trials and full-scale trials. Once you did the trials at your laboratory, you are make sure to go to the the real situation and do the full-scale trials. So when we are working on one of the solid concrete blocks at our previous organization, we did a laboratory trials, and then later we asked the students to go to the actual site and use the same proportion and create these blocks, and make sure the blocks are coming out in a proper, So site level experiments also very important for many of the organizations. I'm almost coming to the end of my presentation. I just would like to give you finally why you are making a product or a prototype before a product, and once you make the product, you become an entrepreneur. I just would like to give you what is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is nothing but a problem solving. So if there are many people facing a particular problem, and if they're ready to pay the price, and if you have a solution in the form of either product or a service, you can start a company or a startup. So for that, you need to do the initial prototypes and design, and then you have to develop it and make sure you get the feedback from the market. And then it is very important, initially, there are a lot of companies that are solving the same issue. Don't worry about it. Your solution you can structure it in a different way. So you need to understand the business functions of your project, and then you have to start with it. It is better always to start with a co-founder, because whether it is a happy or the sad moment, you can share the moment, the moments. And also you always have to take a mentor help, because you have to, when you have to raise the investment based on your prototype, you need to have a mentor such that you get a right investor for your particular. Always have a plan for next 3 months. What is your plan? 6, 9, 12 months, and keep taking the feedback from the people. This is nothing but the influence. I would like to show you some of the the examples. He's working for a stock market. Then he interested in bamboo products, and he started a company. He started building the construction using the bamboo. I can show you. These are some of the structures he has made, furniture he has made. And similarly, one of my good friend, he started his entrepreneurship journey with 2009. He's a chemical company founder. His factories in Chennai. So this person, as known, is in Canada. He worked on touchless dispensers. So he is the person from NID, National Institute of Design. He created a lot of good furniture products with his design studio, wherein he sells for a very good amount of, once he creates some kind of furniture, he sells it for 25 to 30K minimum. So each of the design different. And also you should know about the social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship is nothing but solving the problems of the nearby villages by so we actually understood by visiting some of the community living places in Karnataka, and then we understood what are the problems, and we could able to regenerate a particular lake with I was associated with for this project. And this person is his name is Subra. He's just 10th standard passed out. He started a company, Ion Technologies. He's into fabrication. He does a lot of prototyping, and he started making the products for some of the parts, and he's now working with the various. He's just a 10th standard, but with a passion and learning with a passion, he started making the fabrication and doing small products. So we do a lot of programs at our institute with the Institution Innovation Council with interactions through Skype or Zoom to make sure students get enough. So at last, I come to the conclusion of my presentation. Tell me, what is the purpose in life? Very important. Or you would like to be rich or famous, or you want pleasure, or you want a power? So it is always, which side you choose, or better you live in present and help others. So finally, end of the day, are you contributing to the society is very, very important. And if you wanted to be happy, you actually, happiness is nothing but releasing a chemical in your mind. It's like dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphin, and these chemicals will get released inside your brain. Then only you feel happy. So how do you get released? How do you hack them? Suppose if a task is given, if you complete the task, dopamine will release. If you are playing with a baby or playing with a dog, you feel good. Oxytocin will release. Suppose if you're running, if you're doing any physical exercise, meditating, your mood stabilizer, serotonin will release and you feel comfortable. And the painkiller laughing exercise, if you're watching a comedy, so endorphin will get released. It's a kind of painkiller. So all of you know this Maslow hierarchy of needs. Once you basic needs gets fulfilled, like food, water, rest, so then comes the safety needs, like are you secured, are you safe? Then comes like friends and other things, and then starts esteem needs, like do you have a prestige and feeling of accomplishment, like am I topping the class, or do I have the branded car or whatever. Then at the end, like the hierarchy is self-actualization. It is nothing but what is your potential? Can you able to create something else? So one has to follow this Maslow hierarchy of needs. So I'm coming to the end of my presentation. You have to keep thinking. Thinking is a progress. If you don't think, non-thinking is nothing but stagnation. of any individual or an organization to the country. So your thinking creates the action, and knowledge without action is useless. So knowledge with action, it will convert into adversity, into prosperity, and finally it benefits to the society, in turn to the country. Thank you. This is my email ID and then mobile number. Hope so I have finished from my side. I complete my presentation. Any questions, I'm allowed to answer. Yeah.